Yeah,
is it
look
video?
through that and you go, oh,
Is it filming?
yes.
Just don't look at me. Just look that way.
You're interviewing me, so I'm looking at the interviewer, and that's the camera.
How should I start it?
It's difficult, isn't it?
Very difficult.
I've got to do
I'm
this every
sweating.
Friday by myself. And I've got to G myself up, and I do some vocal things like la 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 la. And
Do
then
you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I talk about things to myself, and
How do I start it?
hello, my name is Tatey.
Oh, shut up.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Will they hear
Katie,
me?
Of course they'll hear you because you've got a microphone on.
Oh, yeah. Is that?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Hi. Katie here. Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
No, you got to ask me who I am. You're a shit interviewer.
Small man syndrome. Start again. Right.
You've gone really red.
I'm going really sweaty. Okay. I don't know how to introduce it.
Just say hi. It's Katie here. James's wonderful partner. Life in crime.
I'll take the pen lid off. Okay.
Hello, Katie. How are you?
Hang on. This is ridiculous. Sam, how do you think we should start it? Right, I mean, introduce it. Any ideas, anybody?
Do you want me to say something? Okay, so we're doing something a little bit different today. I, James, am being interviewed by Katie. This is Katie. If you don't know who Katie is Mrs. Blending Room, although we're not married yet.
17 years. Brains behind the operation. And yes, you're thinking 17...
I'm sorry, while Sam just falls over. Brains behind...
Yeah, it would crumble without me. Yeah, as you asked. Yeah, together for 17 years and still no ring. So yeah, anyway, we'll start. But yeah, we're doing something different today. I wanted to, with James doing kind of the Saturday, talking about the coffee and things, but actually, do you guys know about James? So I have a list.
I think this is a little bit serious, don't you?
No, not at all.
I feel like I'm on the BBC News.
I'd be a really bad presenter.
Yeah.
No, but I just put a few questions so you guys can get to know a little bit more about James, about us. We're being less serious, sipping coffee. So that's about it, really.
Although we haven't got coffee because it's gone 3 o'clock
Well,
and
actually,
that's past my
cold.
curfew. So
yeah. So my first question is like an introduction. So which was kind of is that, isn't it? We've talked about who we are in a relationship.
Yeah.
We have a daughter, Inez, and Beano, yeah, Lady Bean. When she was when I was pregnant, we called her Lady Bean. But
you do realise that we only have 60 seconds of this on Instagrams and
yeah, we can just do a clip of it. This can go on the wild
www.
Yeah, why not? Okay, so what is your job role, James?
I don't really know. What is my job role? Do I have a job?
Well, leader.
Leader. That must mean I have a vision. Do I have a vision? Do we have a vision?
Yeah, definitely.
Jules, do we have a vision? Jules has got her earphones on. She's not listening.
What is you're a roaster? You roast the coffee. Well, you do a bit of everything, aren't you? Jack of all trades.
As you have to be.
As
you
you
own
have
a
to
small
be.
business.
Yeah, exactly.
But I roast coffee. That's my
That's
job.
your main. Yeah. Okay. What's your favourite parts and least favourite parts of what you do? What's your favourite parts to start with?
Coming into work when there's no staff around.
You do get into work very early. What time do you start work?
6.
Yeah, so that's pretty early. That's your favourite part. They're being serious though. What is your favourite parts of what you do?
I love everything. Everything.
Jim says to me that he doesn't feel like he's worked a day in his life with doing this business, which is really lovely. I do feel a little bit jealous about that because I've never felt like that, but you really do love what you do, don't you? So, but it must be like a really favourite part that you think.
No, I enjoy every single part. There are maybe bits that I don't enjoy doing so much, but I still take some amount of joy in everything.
Okay.
And I think you have to, because if you don't do that, if you run a small business and you don't enjoy what you're doing, don't do it.
True.
Because it's your choice to be in that position.
So it leads me on to the next one. What's your least favourite part? There must be something you think, oh God, I don't know, emptying the chaff bin, or I don't know, paying people, or
that's always the hardest pill to swallow. Yeah. No, I enjoy paying people because that means that we've performed well as a business throughout the month. The least favourite thing to do, I think probably business admin. General answering emails and all of the sort of like nitty-gritty functional stuff that takes time in front of a computer. I enjoy that less than working with my hands. Okay.
I've just actually thought we are dressed the same. This is not intentional. I just rocked up to do this and thought, crap, we're wearing the same outfit. So this is not some kind of weird, I don't know, uniform.
Well, it is. Jules is wearing black.
Sure, she is, but it looks like we're matching. It was not meant to be.
Okay.
So I'd like you to explain where we started. So right back 17 years ago?
15 years
15
ago.
years ago, sorry. It feels like 17
years together as a couple.
17, yes, sorry, yeah. And then 15.
15 years as a business.
Yeah. So where did it start? Tell me where... Okay, first off, tell me where the idea for what you're doing now came from.
I don't think I had an idea. I don't think we had that idea. We just decided to do something, didn't we?
Well, it stemmed from your dad, didn't it?
Yeah, so back in 2003, my father was at that point working as a software engineer of some description, but came out of that. That was after we came back from going to Australia.
Yep. And when we could travel and have holidays.
No, but this was a family holiday. It wasn't us going to Australia.
Oh, that was afterwards. Yeah. Okay.
So he bought a coffee roaster, of which I still have, the Diedrich IR3. So he started roasting coffee under the Newmarket Coffee Company brand thing. At that point, we were working, 2005, we met in Planet Coffee, Newland Ave.
Yep.
So I was working in Planet Coffee at that point. And then your dad died.
He did.
And you decided that you wanted to go travelling the world afterwards.
Well, to Australia. I think Crisis was a big place, James.
Okay.
But when we could travel and do holidays when we didn't own a business.
So when we came back, it was kind of then that I thought, I'll get a proper job, realised that I didn't enjoy wearing a suit, and thought, how about doing some coffee things? Because that's all I'd known beforehand through Planet Coffee. And, I just tapped up my dad and said, can you roast some coffee for me and we'll go and stand on the market? And that's what we did.
But then back in the day...
2009.
Back in the day, you had to, you roasted it and then drove it back, didn't you?
Yeah.
So the time scales were bonkers.
I had a full-time job, Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week there, and then we were trying to do the coffee thing.
We used to take my old Clio car to Tilbury Docks. Was it Tilbury Docks?
Yeah.
Yeah, to get... how much coffee did we put in the car?
We could only get 3 sacks, but
It was heavy for a Clio, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 250 kilos.
And then when I remember the first day we did Beverley Market.
Yeah.
So we used to then start by having everything in our front room in our old house, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it became like a stock room.
Yeah.
And then just
Can you remember when environmental health came around and Timmy the cat was walking through the other bit of the house?
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, we had to start somewhere. But yeah, we carted the stuff down the 10 foot till we're in Hull, and we did that for every Saturday, didn't we? We had normal jobs. We did it every Saturday, and I remember going to Beverley Market, and the first day, and everyone was like, "What you got in your box?" Like everyone was like, now they've become like really good friends, haven't they? So
Yeah.
it's kind of been very dear to us, Beverley Market, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's the linchpin.
Oh, well, you still do it now, don't you, every day?
It's the foundation of the business, and it will always be part of the business. Whether or not it'll be me stood there, one of us will be at the market.
I mean, you better not be stood there for the rest of his Saturday, because it is a little bit tiring.
No, because it's hard work, and I'm getting old now, so.
So I remember it, but can you explain, when did you have your kind of coffee, what's the word? Epiphany, yeah. Where did you get that kind of...
It was Christmas 2010.
Okay. Because at the time we were roasting coffee, so before this we were roasting kind of, what coffee we were roasting? Commercial, yeah. So kind of the Javas of the world, wasn't it?
Old Brown Java. Monsoon Malabar. The Brazils that I was buying were what we would describe as Brazil Santos. They were just port related coffees.
Yeah.
Very, very basic. Because that's the world that we existed in at that point in time, back in the early 2000s. There wasn't specialty as we know it today, and discussions around cultivars, terroir, it just wasn't a thing. And it wasn't until Square Mile started in 2008 that even London was doing specialty. And then it was a trip to London, I think it was the winter of 2010.
So I was working in London at the time, wasn't I?
You were in London working, and I went down for Boxing Day, because we would have driven back up from London to Hull on Boxing Day.
I should explain, I used to work... Yes, no, of course. And I used to work, my previous life before this was, a VM, so I used to do the windows at House of Fraser, and then retrained as a fashion stylist. So James used to come and visit me at Christmas when I couldn't get away, and then that's where you had it, didn't you? So yeah, explain. So I was on Oxford Street, and you was...
It was Notes on Trafalgar Square,
which is still there now, so which is amazing.
So I've got to thank Steve Layton of Has Been for roasting a Shikiso natural from Ethiopia. Thank them Notes, because they were one of the very first specialty focused coffee shops who at that point were using Square Mile. They now roast for themselves, but this was a split shop natural Shikiso by Has Been when naturals were funky. Now they're all clean and crisp and refined.
And how was that brewed? It was on bar, wasn't it?
It was a split shot, a split shot. So
can you explain what a split shot is?
So that's a double shot poured into two different cups at the same time, one being a little espresso vessel, a demi-tasse, and then the other being a single shot cappuccino.
Okay.
And that came to me then on a little presentation board, which was foreign at that point.
Can I ask why that was split? Is that just a method of drink?
It's just a presentation of the coffee.
Okay.
So you can taste the espresso in its naked form.
Yeah.
But taste what that coffee is like when it's paired with milk.
Okay.
So that was that, and it was a transformative experience. Absolutely, it was blueberries and cream and with the milk, and it was like ripe strawberry when it was the espresso. And I remember coming into House of Fraser.
I know. I was like, I thought literally you were pale. He was like just white as a sheep, and I was like, "Are you okay? What's happened?" And you were just like a bit down from, weren't you? A bit kind of, and you was like, "I just had the most amazing coffee," didn't you?
Yeah.
And said, "That's it. We need to change everything that we're doing," and that's when it kind of started, wasn't it?
Yeah. So at that point, then I started roasting, versus having Dad do some of the roasting for me. But I ditched all of the commodity stuff and bought a couple of bags of coffee from Falcon Specialty at that point. And I remember when Mike Riley was headed that up, like my invoice from Falcon was Falcon Specialty was invoice number 2. So this is going back donkey's years now.
Wow. You still got the invoice?
No.
Keep everything.
Yeah.
Which the next kind of so that was really that was a full change. So it was really kind of a really important time, wasn't it, to kind of change the direction. So it was really nerve-wracking as well, wasn't it? Because we're used to things. Or was you kind of for me it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
it was
for
changing
me it wasn't,
things.
because at that point I knew exactly what I had to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a life lesson and a lesson inside a business is don't try to satisfy other people. Do do something for yourself. Because if you can satisfy self, you can stand behind the work that you're doing.
Well, totally. And the next question was leading into your dad. Can you talk about your dad?
In what way?
So, well, he was like a kind of, well, because he was doing it, he was a big part of our kind of journey, I suppose, wasn't it? He gave you, well, he helped you roast and have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Sadly, he's no longer with us.
He would have helped to some degree on teaching me how to roast, and that was not necessarily, if I look back, it wasn't how to roast, but more how to operate the equipment that we were using, which is a 15-year-old IR3 by Deidre. Well, actually, no, crikey, it's 20 years old now, that machine.
Wow.
Anyway, so he would have taught me that, and then did all the, listening to me talk about stuff as parents do, and helped buy the Probat. I paid him back, but he forward funded it.
Which is amazing, isn't it? And it's just such a shame that we moved units, didn't we, to a bigger unit. We've got the new roaster, etc., and things have changed. We've got Jules and Sam and other people who've worked with us and stuff, and it was just a shame that he didn't get to see that, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but he set you in good stead.
That's life.
So just a little bit of a funny question that Jules has just asked me to ask you. When is she getting a staff uniform?
When you get your staff uniform? We talked about this today and yesterday.
Well, she wants one.
Oh, okay.
So I thought I'd put it on camera to make that happen.
Well, ironically, just a few doors down, there's actually an embroidering place.
I know,
now
I thought that, so we can get done. Yeah,
uniforms.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. I suppose the next question should be, when are we going to get a sign for the roastery?
We must get a sign. Yeah, so that is on my list to do. Because people are like, where are you? But they find us. But it's like a little kind of
Google.
It's like a little secret within the industrial estate. So I know you've done some videos and you've talked a little bit about Q. So when I did these questions, which I've been meaning to do this for a long time, it's still on my list. Could you just give us how did you get to do Q in the first place?
I won a competition.
Amazing. Did you know that? No. Okay. And to explain the competition, because it's pretty big competition. So explain.
Well, it wasn't.
Well,
really.
it was. Oh, you're so honestly.
But it wasn't really. It was Falcon Speciality.
Yep.
Some years ago.
A lot. How many years ago?
A billion. Some years ago. 9 years ago. 7 years ago.
Not longer than that.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Had hosted a competition, an inter-roastery competition, so just of their own customers, whereby each roaster was given the opportunity to purchase a bag of a particular coffee that we all had, and this was a washed Red Bourbon from Huye Mountain from Rwanda.
Good memory.
Yeah, I remember things. And so we had to roast the coffee and then submit a lot to be cut. And the winner would get a free pass to a Q course hosted by Mike Riley, who was.
And I remember the day that you did that, and you were like, nah.
Well, so the story goes that as a precursor to that, I had somebody down to service my Probat.
You did.
Yeah?
You did.
Who shall remain nameless, but ask me personally and I'll tell you. And this
swear word in this roaster.
This person messed around with my burner, so I essentially was running on an overclocked burner module in the Probat.
Yeah.
So when I came to roast the first few batches of it, because I remember binning one batch because it was so bad as far as I thought.
And what does that do? Explain.
More power.
BTU. Okay.
But it's like every day getting into your VW Golf and driving to work, and you've been doing that for 5 years, and overnight somebody goes into your garage unbeknownst to you and puts in a Ferrari engine, and you get in the next day and you've got to drive it.
Okay.
It is essentially the same, but you just have more power available to you. So you've now got to learn how to drive with that new scenario.
Okay.
So that was like I had to do. Anyway, the only trick that I employed, which it's not really a trick, it's just intelligent, I suppose, and that was I sorted all the green and I sorted all the roasted. So before I roasted the batch, I put all of the green coffee on a table like this.
I'm going to say, explain what you mean by sorted.
And then I sorted for size and colour discrepancies. of the green. So
Okay.
therefore, each of the green beans were more uniform than
Okay.
they were before I sorted them.
Yeah.
And then after I roasted, I then selected the samples
Yeah.
that I was going to send, because we had
Yeah.
to send like 100 grams or something like that.
Okay.
And I went through each and every one of the beans,
Yeah.
trying to match the size and shape
Yeah.
and match the colour.
Okay.
Now these are in the days where colour sorters, which you can buy now, and that's
Yeah.
going to be the next purchase for the roastery, will be a colour sorter. But you're talking 35,000 euros for one of those.
Wow.
That was in a day where small roastery colour sorters were just not a thing.
Okay.
Colour sorters were available in big commercial
So you do it by
environments.
eye, not
So
a
it's doing it
machine.
by
Okay.
eye. Yeah.
So when you
So that was the trick.
okay, so when you had roasted the sample, did you kind of send it off thinking, oh, it's got no chance?
Yeah,
Because I remember
absolutely.
you saying, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, I just did. I was going to not send it, and I thought, well, what's there to lose?
Okay.
And yeah, I got an email from, I think it was Matt Sealby actually. He's now the buyer, taken over from Mike Riley, my buyer, that is, at
Yeah.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Hi, Matt. And I'm pretty certain it was Seal that sent an email to say, oh, FYI, you've won the competition.
And how many people had, so it was
Not a huge
estimate.
amount,
I know,
maybe
but just-
15.
Okay, but 15 roasts
roasteries.
across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Different.
No, I mean, yeah, different standards, I would imagine,
Yeah.
but only of people who are
I
working with
bet you
Falcon.
didn't know that.
Pardon?
I'm just saying, I bet you didn't know that.
Well,
So then you
I don't
did.
talk about stuff like
So with the Q grader course, you went to London and then you did the course.
yeah, I had
So-
to take a week off work.
Week off
On
work,
the first day, can you remember the first day? My first day?
I got locked myself out.
Well, you didn't get locked out. You were calling me to say that you
I was
couldn't
just
get into
really
the road.
nervous looking after the roastery. This
Four
was at
guys at
year
A1
22.
car class had to come and try to get in, only for you to ring me. And because
Yeah.
I'm a logical person, I said,
Did you make sure you tried every key, every hole in the door?
so you were
And
just
then
using the wrong key
and
and the wrong
the
lock,
guys
weren't
had
you?
got the guys had brought in oil, spraying oil, and thinking it was gonna be stuck. And yes, the nerves got the better of me, and all right, put it in the wrong hole. Anyway, got in. So then you were fine.
Yes.
You work well under pressure, don't you? So it didn't really phase you. So give an example of a smirking.
I just remembering the time.
No, there's been, yeah. Have many qualities, that's just not one of them. So give an example of like the day of a Q grade. Like, give it, I don't think people realise, like, are they in depth kind of what you do in that day? So you're there for how
There are
long?
19 tests.
19 tests, okay.
So you spend 3 days going through calibrations to that test.
Is that for just to get the actual qualification itself, and then
No.
when you have to retake, it's different, isn't it?
So that the Q course or examination is a 5-day event.
Right, okay.
3 of those days
Yeah.
are the students going through each of the test scenarios to make sure that they have had a practice.
Okay.
And then you would then spend your last 2 days sitting the tests.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 2 days of training and 3 days of tests, whatever, I can't really remember. But essentially, there are 19 tests that you have to pass in order to qualify then as a Q grader.
Okay,
And
so my next question, sorry, just quickly go, just again, people probably don't know, what is the qualification? What happens when you're a Q grader? What can you do with that qualification?
You're basically a green coffee buyer
Okay.
that is registered as having a calibrated palate amongst
Yeah.
other people of your status
Okay,
that can value green coffee for the purchasing market.
okay. So you
if I
have to
was-
be a Q, you have to have that
you
qualification
don't
to
have
do
to.
that?
You don't have to.
Okay.
But a seller of green coffee and a buyer of green coffee
Would call upon-
may call upon
Right.
an impartial taster to
Okay.
give that coffee, that green coffee, a score.
Okay,
And that score tells the buyer and the seller
yeah,
the quality of that coffee
Okay.
and the value of that coffee. So it's being fair to the growers,
yeah,
the sellers,
sure,
but it's also being fair to the buyer of that coffee as well.
Okay.
And essentially a number is given to it between 0 and 100.
Sure.
And the higher the score, the higher the value of that product.
So how many times have you sat your Q grader course?
Well, I passed the exam first time.
Yeah.
And then every 3 years thereafter, you have to recalibrate.
Okay.
You have to go and spend a day having, being tested on whether your tasting, your cupping is on point still. Because, you know, our palates change through time.
Yeah.
Our skills wane.
Well, and exactly. Before, you were not meant to have spicy foods, was it? Alcohol affects the taste. You're meant to be very kind of thoughtful, isn't it, about what you're going to do?
To be professional, then you would treat your palate as a tool.
So how many times have you?
I've done 2 recalibrations now. So I'm now going to. I am a registered Q grader until July 27. Okay. At which point I have to go through another calibration, and if I pass, I get another license for another 3 years.
Okay. And then just quickly, can you give an example of? Because let's face it, like you had a group. How many in the group was in it? Well, how many was in the group with you?
What in the first test?
Oh no, let's say the last one that you just did.
Maybe let's call it 10.
Yeah, and they're all green coffee buyers, aren't they? They do that as a job.
Yeah, everybody there was in my sitting in my day. As far as I'm aware, they were all green coffee buyers.
Which must have been so kind of. I would have felt a little bit kind of not nervous, but like these guys do it all the time.
It was a little intimidating.
Intimidating is a good word.
Yeah. It wasn't because
you didn't think you'd pass, did you?
I didn't think I would pass, not because I don't think that I can taste, because I know I can taste. I thought I wasn't going to pass based on the other attendees were green coffee buyers and are tasting as part of the
doing
job.
It daily,
They're using that qualification daily, and most of those were green coffee buyers inside of a group of other buyers within a company.
And using the protocols and things as well, I would imagine. You know, the way things work and the scoring and
scoring maybe, but like most, I think even big green coffee buyers, they wouldn't be using the full SCA score sheet. Okay. They were probably using a derivative of it. Like if I'm doing cupping for, our production roasts. Sure. I'm not using 5 samples. I'm using 1 sample, and I'm proving or disproving a notion inside of the roast. Okay. Right, and then from there, I'd be assessing it for marketing purposes. Like, what does it taste like? How do I convey that to people? Okay. And these guys would be doing a very similar thing. Sure. But they would be doing it within a group. Yeah. So when they're tasting the coffee and they formulate a score of 85, for example. Yeah. Each one of those people would likely have tasted that 85 and begin over a period of time calibrating to those groups. Sure. Now I was the anomaly because it's just me who cups by myself without the discussion about cupping with other people. So I didn't think I was going to pass.
So in layman's terms, he's got a bloody good palate.
No.
Yes, you have. No, honestly, just for the love of God, just be I
was able to quickly calibrate to a group.
No, he's got a good palate, and
Postie's here.
You're probably thinking what we're doing. Yeah. You've got a good palate, and which obviously helps you guys buying the coffee from us, that you can trust in James because he tastes well and that he roasts well, and then that kind of like leads you in. No, you don't lie. You're too honest for his own bloody good. So, next question. Well, thank you for answering that, because I've been nagging James for ages to talk about it, because I think it's a big thing, and like it's really hard to pass. And you did it a year, like every time you've done it, you've passed. So. Yeah, I'm pleased now the world knows that you're a Q grader. I'm sure you're not, but you know, I am.
Whatever.
So, what is your...
We're going to go get in here.
I've got 10 minutes yet. You'd be pleased to know. What is your favourite brewing method?
Filter coffee, bulk filter coffee, because I'm lazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Posty. So that's your favourite method.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would be your? Do you have a favourite coffee or region of coffee, or do you have a coffee that you think? I know we've spoken about notes, but what is your kind of favourite coffee? And that's really hard to answer that. But what do you enjoy drinking?
Washed coffees.
Yeah.
From any country.
Washed coffee. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, because I quite like. Well, I didn't used to, but now I really like. I had a coffee. It wasn't one from us. But it was like, yeah, very fruity, and I think I quite like the naturals now, going into that. But
yeah,
anyway.
but unfortunately, it was a washed pink bourbon
Well, there you
that
go.
you had drunk.
It was delicious.
It wasn't a natural at all. So if you're going to make a statement about something, be correct about it.
Well, it was delicious anyway. Talk about, can you talk about the whole coffee scene?
What about it?
Do you think, how has it grown over the time we've been in business? Have you seen it grow?
Yeah, I mean, back in our days when Planet Coffee was it was the first and only cafe in Hull to have a sofa in it. I remember it.
Yeah, we had bloody beanbags and nobody would leave.
It made Hull Daily Mail news that there was a cab with a sofa in it. Yeah,
because it wasn't the thing, was it?
Yeah. We've moved on a little bit since then.
Yeah, that's
good.
But
then that can be said about everywhere. So now we have some cafes that are really doing good work, and they're very quality focused, and there'll be multi-roaster sites. There'll be people who work with predominantly products from ourselves. So it's just immeasurably better. Yeah,
but that's exciting as well, isn't it? And seeing people.
There's a lot to do.
I know we roast coffee, but you really want to champion people, and obviously they've got to succeed, which makes us succeed, isn't it? So
it's
nice to see people. Yeah, it's nice to see more vibrant area, isn't it? Because I'm from Hull. You're not from Hull, are you? So actually, explain. Yeah, I'm from Hull. Where are you from? Because people won't even know that either.
I was born in Wales.
I
lived in Papua New Guinea.
How long for?
Some years.
That's quite cool, isn't it?
Not really.
Well, it is
because it wasn't really my choice. It was my mum and my dad's.
Well, I know, but at least it's quite. And your brother and sister was born there.
Born over there.
Yeah. Okay.
They got Port Moresby on their passports.
That's quite cool.
Yeah. Well, I got Cardiff. That's cooler.
Yeah, Hull's not so much. So, if you wasn't working in coffee, what would you be doing?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, have a think.
What would I be doing if I wasn't working in coffee?
Gigolo? I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, I'd have a better body than Dan, wouldn't I? Isn't that right, Jules? What? Nothing. Sorry, Dan.
He's so jealous of Dan. No, I'm being serious though. What would you do? Would you work? Would you? I don't know. It's a question, isn't it? Would you be doing?
I'd be in construction.
Construction.
Yep. I don't know. I'd be a bricklayer.
Why?
I don't know. Why not?
You don't build walls at home.
I can't because I'm roasting beans, aren't I?
True. That's so you don't really know, do you?
I have no idea. I know now that I wouldn't be wearing a suit. I wouldn't be in middle management because I can't cope with hierarchy.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, it couldn't work for anybody, could you?
So yeah, I'd be self-employed doing something.
And could you, obviously, so yeah, you would be self-employed. You couldn't see yourself working in the coffee industry in a different role?
I mean, I don't know, because we'd have to be rolling back 15 years of my life, and who knows? Yeah.
True.
I'm here now, am I not?
Making me laugh, there's people behind.
There are.
What do you see for the business, and what would you like? Because I know we've spoken about it, and because we've had one holiday in 10 years, you would love to do more travel, wouldn't we? You'd like to go to Origin, and to source, speak to the farmers direct, etc., which is, I suppose, in anyone's kind of dream, isn't it? Is that still your dream? Would you like to do that?
Yeah. If I was to design, if I was to be looking at myself as an employee and giving James the opportunity to grow within the company, James's next progressional step would be to be a bona fide green coffee buyer.
Okay.
So that means that
I suppose you use your Q grader courses as well.
Correct, So that means that I'd be travelling to Origin and making purchases of our raw coffee there.
Yeah.
Versus the process that we do at the minute, which is basically use offer sheets that come to us from...
Which mean Innie and I can travel with you. Brilliant. We can sun ourselves around the pool. We can go off and...
They don't have pools
trek
abroad.
They don't?
No.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what you'd see.
For me personally, but in order for me to do that as an actual role, that means the roles that I exit or would need to exit, like roasting and the accounts and all of the other sundry things that I do, I have to be able to give over to somebody.
So watch this space. There could be some job opportunities on the horizon.
But in order to do that, I need to double or triple the output of the business.
Yeah, but we're shipping away, aren't we?
Are we?
You are.
Yeah.
So here's a question, okay? Now, the question is who would you like to dine with? What 3 people...
Jeremy Clarkson.
Listen, hang on. I haven't finished yet. Who would you really love? What 3 people...
Sorry, I just heard Sam laugh at that.
What 3 people, dead or alive, would you want to have a coffee with? Now think about this.
Why?
I don't know. Just it's kind of like makes you like really cool and interesting if you pick the right people.
What do you mean the right people?
I'm joking.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Why not?
James.
King of Pop.
Start again. Who would you like to have a coffee with?
I would want to have a coffee with. I don't know.
Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
because that'd
right.
be good.
For what purpose?
Because you can have a proper man's conversation about man's stuff.
Okay. Like fast cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I'd have a conversation probably with somebody from our industry as well.
Yeah. Is anybody that you'd really like to talk to within the industry? Put a shout out.
A shout out. We're not in 2010.
I'm 44. This is new to me, technology.
I thought you were 45.
No, 44. 1980 I was born.
Okay.
Who in the industry would you like to speak to? Because you don't really know any famous people, do you? We don't have a TV at home.
Because I don't consider other people famous, Katie.
Oh, okay.
They're just the
yourself.
Same as me.
Just yourself.
Pardon?
Just yourself.
Funny.
Who would? Anyone in the industry?
I think I would probably, it'd be good to sit down with somebody like Mike Riley, Peter James of James Gourmet, or maybe somebody...
Square Mile?
Yeah, James Hoffman.
Jim Hoffman, yeah.
Yeah, people who've been around a while. Steve Layton, sit down.
You're old bit, you're all cute, like everyone's been around for a little bit.
Yeah,
not the new kids on the block.
We're real people.
I suppose you've been here for a long time, haven't you?
People here for trend.
Yeah.
You know, we got into coffee when coffee wasn't a thing.
Okay.
Those sorts of people.
Okay.
You know, Steve Layton,
Let's
Peter
make it happen.
James, James Hoffman. They're all like cutting edge people of their time.
Okay.
So that would be really interesting conversations.
Okay, sounds cool.
Yeah. Saved by the bell.
Just a telephone. One thing you'd change about yourself?
Nothing.
Oh, shut up.
I wouldn't change a darn thing.
Oh, my Lord.
What would I change?
Do you want me to list?
Yeah, do it. I wouldn't change a thing.
You wouldn't change a thing about yourself?
No.
You're that perfect?
Yep. No, I'm not to say... No, that's you're putting words in my mouth.
Okay, I'll read.
Me.
That's true. He definitely is. One thing you would change about yourself that you think not tampers with the business, or like one thing you would change that you do within the business that might help it.
I want to do everything myself.
When we know that,
which
this is what drives us insane,
has an impact on the growth trajectory of the business, but I wouldn't want to change it because it's me.
Okay.
If you want to, if you want to ask these questions, you're going to get profound answers.
A day in the life of James at the roastery, start to finish.
Really want to know?
Like on a roast day. So you get up at, your alarm goes off at?
Just before 5. Get into work 6 a.m.
Yeah.
If it's a roast day, I will turn the gas on, turn the roaster on, get the roaster fired up, at which point I'd go brew a pot of coffee.
Yeah.
I'd have my first cup of coffee outside.
Let's not do the really, let's broaden it a little bit. You're trying to make your day sound more exciting than it is.
What? Well, I
I
was going to say that I clean my teeth, I have a shower, but you don't want to know those things,
No,
right?
not really.
No. And then I'd roast for generally a minimum of 20 batches.
Okay.
Because that's like a proper roast day. 25 batches is standard now.
And the new roast has changed the whole kind of working week as well, doesn't it? It's giving you time.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
I can, on our circa 600 kilos of output a week, I can do that in one day. It's a big day on the Loring. And there are some facets of the choices that I have to make in the cadence of roasts, which may mean that I'm not getting exactly the best out of the roaster, but it would be a consistent approach and one that hits output, which frees me up then to do a bunch of other things in my week.
What do you have for lunch?
I don't.
You do?
Okay, I have a late lunch.
A late lunch. What do you have for your late lunch? Tell everybody you have the same thing every day. You're a man of...
Do you know what? Jules had the same thing as me today.
Did she?
Yeah,
did you have the same lunch as James? Did you have yogurt with fruit and stuff for lunch? Nice.
Kefir yogurt with nuts in it.
Yeah, but how many nuts though? This is ridiculous. It
It's
is
not
like
ridiculous.
you could feed a family of 4 with the nuts.
Give over.
You could.
Give over.
It's huge. It's huge, isn't it, Jules? It's the same every day.
Nuts are very good for vitamins and minerals.
We are, I know,
right?
James.
And they're fantastic for fibre. And fibre...
It's great going to the toilet.
Fibre has a profoundly positive impact on your gut health, which will mean that you're a better person at doing your thing. So I have kefir yogurt, 5 or 6 different nut types.
Yep.
Now I added a banana for potassium.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm allergic to bananas. So
And then raspberries and blueberries because of their low glycemic level.
Yeah.
Voila.
Amazing. Okay. And then so you roast dates and lots. You've got a really busy day, and then you get home, say 5:30 to see Inez, which is then you go into in dad mode. But what do you do away from the roastery?
I don't.
Well, we do. We renovate a house, don't we?
Do we? Do we really?
Well, it's the longest renovation in history, and we still don't have a kitchen. But what's your other?
You and our daughter.
That's very kind.
But that's it, isn't it?
I didn't tell him to say that. No, but what are your interests outside of the roastery?
That's it.
Seeing your family?
That's it.
Yeah? Just me and Innie?
Yeah.
Well, it's very kind, thank you.
I have 3 worlds, don't I? I have my first child, which is the business.
Yeah.
I have you.
The second child.
And then I have my real first child, that is kind of my second child, and that's our daughter.
True.
So those are the 3 things that I must look after all the time.
Okay.
So that's it.
Good answer. Good answer. And where do you see the roastery?
This is the most boring interview
It's really not.
I've ever been
I bet you've
part
learned
of.
so much. I don't know how you dare.
I am,
You're good at editing. You're
I know.
fine.
I've got to edit this.
So
Even Sam's gone to sleep.
how have you found the interview? That was my next question.
Rubbish. It's rubbish. I thought you were going to be asking me great questions like what my shoe size is, or
Oh, wait, you're a small man, a small shoe.
Are you saying every man with a size 8 foot or lower is a small foot size?
Possibly, yes. Anyway,
right, okay.
But yeah, thank you for giving the time for me to ask the questions.
Oh, is that it?
Have you got any questions you want to ask me?
No. What time are we picking our daughter up?
Now.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed
Okay, so
it.
there endeth the most boring interview on the planet of YouTube. It's
Thank you.
30 minutes of our lives gone. Is that it? Is that?
That's it, done. Cut.